Welcome to the Sacred Rose Temple. I'm your host, Colette Corcoran, and I'm speaking to you about the Maga. So, the Maga is the woman who is after the mother, although may still be a mother, of course, and before the crone. And this is a really important stage. We all know of the mother, the maiden, and the crone. And in spiritual work and in depth psychology, we're aware of the archetypes of those three and how they impact us, and the need for ceremony of those three as we move through the stages, being aware of what's inviting us in and what we need to leave behind. Also, of the shadow of each of those triple goddesses, and also the light and the power and the wisdom and the love they can bring us. But there's little said about the space between the mother and the crone. And this is a huge space and a really big space, and a space for many years I was intrigued in, yet unable to comment because my own experience had not touched it yet. And I'm a big one for embodiment and to be in a place or to have gone through something in order to be able to bring it to others. And hallelujah to the evolution of the female body. I am in my MAGA stage and have been working in this stage for, I would say, for the last 4 years, maybe longer. I think it's really hard when she comes to us to actually accept her and acknowledge her that we are leaving the mother stage. Particularly those women who, like me, may have, wanted more children or didn't have children and wanted to conceive or have children and kind of time slipped away. And I think when it actually dawns on you that the MAGA is with you and within you, that it's kind of like a big slap on the face and it's like, oh, hello, how did this happen? And there's kind of like a shock happens in our bodies when we realize that we're actually in that stage before Chrome. So I want to really talk just about the stages of that. Obviously, we have the physical aspect of the MAGA in that the body's changing, the hormones are changing. There's that, deep physical experience that we all have that's very different. And it's all very different depending on the work we've done in the past, our ancestral bodies and our culture, and a whole plethora of things that I could talk about an hour on. But, having done a lot of work in this and reading about this a lot and involved with the process within my own depth psychological process and my own spiritual process, I realized that what we're actually facing is everything that we didn't deal with in the past. We're facing it all up. And although we might deny certain things or try to be defensive or say that we have, the body keeps the score. The body actually keeps the score. And we can't say, I've had years of this and I did this, and then the body's telling us otherwise. So it's a time to really face up to truth. And I think physically, the truth speaks for itself. Whatever we're going through physically is a process of truth. And there's two things here I want to be aware of. There are women that have a nightmare with the physical parts of menopause, and the physical is always showing us the repression of emotions, the repressions of situations, of patterns, of the psyche, of all of that. And there are some women that don't even notice because they're very disconnected from the process. So it may be women who are really disconnected say, oh, I didn't even experience anything. But we know that we can be very, very disconnected as well. Some people carry cancer in the body for years and don't even know it's there. So there's a disconnection. And then there's women that are having kind of, some symptoms and trying to work out what those symptoms are and deal with them on the psycho spiritual side of things. And I really hope that I'm the latter. I really hope I'm bringing forward what's going on in my body as a way of saying, okay, these are the things that are unresolved in me, and these are the next parts to work at. So I really wanted to share that because I think it's really important that when we come into the MAGA stage, it really is about the illusions falling. And I think that's a major teaching, that the MAGA is about the illusions falling and that the truth starts to come forward. And for me, the MAGA hears the truth. She can hear the truth a mile off, and she can hear a lie a mile off. And she becomes ever more wanting to only have truth spoken to her. She can absolutely tell when truth is not being spoken, and she disengages from anything that isn't truthful. The harder aspect of that is actually the Maga speaking her full truth. That's part of the lesson of the Maga, is can she speak full truth to others as well as to herself? I also wanted to share the etymology of the word maga. It's said to be a very old Celtic word for a woman of magic, a woman who's a sorceress, and the Italian word holds the same etymology: magician, conjurer, charmer, beguiler, enchantress. All of these words are very powerful for the maga, and yet we have lost this stage as that kind of, I don't like the word power, because I know where there's power, love is devoid. I want to say wisdom and love. And when she's in wisdom and her full love, then she's in a really transformative stage. This stage is absolutely meant to transform a woman beyond all stages. And many women miss this stage as the pure powerhouse of love and wisdom that it is. So I've been percolating on this quite a lot over probably the last 2 years, and I wanted to do some work within this field and help women, but didn't feel that I had enough experience through the process, nor done enough learning and embodiment of it myself until now. So I really want to start to share some teachings around the Maga. And I'm well aware that there's a whole collective of women coming through the MAGA stage because, through the birth records, there was, the boomers. I'm a boomer. And now we have an unprecedented amount of women going through this stage. And I really want to clear some rubbish around it, as was the old teachings of menstruation, it being a curse, it being horrific. That has always circled this MAGA stage that, oh no, it's where women go crazy, it's where they lose their health, and it's where this and this happens. And actually, what it all is an empowerment process. And the disempowered are the ones who are not actually getting what this is showing them. They're not actually working with the ceremonial process of the Maga, and they're still in denial about many areas of their life that are coming up for them during this phase, and making them less tolerant of them, or if they're still tolerating them, making life pretty difficult for them. So I wanted to just share that with you, and just to let you know that I'm going to be just like dipping some teasers in about the Maga, and then bringing a container of work within this whole area, because I believe it's about time that this part of a woman's evolution is demystified and unveiled, like the menstrual cycle of women has been. And so I want to pioneer, I really want to bring in a more kind of like important ceremonial lesson giving magical time that this process is, from the minute the mother begins to transition into the big long initiation into Chrome. And I think this initiatory time really dictates as to how a woman lives through her crondom, and whether she becomes the crone elder that empowers the community and works with the community, or whether she becomes the elderly person who becomes old and unhealthy and, poor of mind, body, spirit, soul, and all of those things. So please, please, if you're interested in the Maga and more about the Maga, please comment onto this recording, and I will be making sure that I bring you all into a free space where I'm going to be exploring this more deeply, and of course offering some deeper dives into how we work with her and how we come out the other side feeling fully empowered in wisdom and love. So hope this falls on all of your wombs well, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Bye for now.